KGVO Missoula Sports Talk Tonight and streaming online at Newstalk, KGVO.com.
You gonna join us over there? Or?
Hey, look what just blew in.
Just because you put your hand over the mic and move it away and start hollering at Kyle doesn't mean people can't hear you, okay? Just so you know.
I'm a voice that needs to be heard. Hey, it's Scott Guernsey and Denny Bedard on Sports Talk Tonight.
I got a message I want to get out there.
Oh, it feels like I've been gone for a month, Denny, but it's only been a week.
I know. But weren't you a little bit tardy the week before? So that kind of maybe that's why it seems like you've been gone so long.
That very well could be. I tell you what, I am a road warrior. We'll get to that in a second. This is Sports Talk Tonight, live from the KGVO studios.
Yeah.
We are streaming worldwide on newstalkkgvo.com, on the AM side of the dial 1290, over on the FM side 98.3. Follow us on Twitter at Sports Talkback. Our podcasts are online at newstalkkgvo.com. Our phone number, as always, is 406-721-1290. And, boy, I am a road warrior, Denny. We'll just go back to 3 weeks ago. I was in Spokane for baseball. 2 weeks ago, we had wedding stuff in town. Last week, we went to Fort Benton for the GSA, my wife and I, GSA golf tournament, which was awesome. Great weather, great hosts up there, the Halcos at Signal Point Golf Course. Just had a great time. Golf with Coach Bob Stitt.
Terrific.
He should just be called Bob Stick because he is a heck of a golfer. I don't know.
That's what I hear.
Don't know how because he never gets a chance to do it except for about these 2 weeks.
Yeah, really.
When he's on this tour.
Not like he's out there working on his game 8 months of the year or something.
This weekend, Denny, nothing going on at the moment. I hope I don't get sucked into. It's going to be nice for Memorial Day for the first time in a long time.
Isn't that exciting? We are expecting mostly sunny skies, highs anywhere from the low to upper 70s all weekend long. I've got 9 holes scheduled on Saturday night with a couple friends, although they haven't gotten back to confirm. Other than that, I don't know that I got a plan, Gurns.
Well, sometimes
I don't think I need a plan.
Sometimes the best laid plans are the plans that you don't have laid before you.
If Jennifer wants to go do something, we'll go do that. Other than that, I don't know that we got a lot of plans.
Next week, Denny, I've got Def Leppard concert in Bozeman, coming back on Thursday for my son's 6th grade graduation. In Butte, going back to Butte on Friday for a baseball tournament. Then the weekend after, back to Spokane for my wife's birthday. The weekend after that, Billings. The weekend after that, Belgrade. And then I'll cut my yard.
Yeah. Yeah, with a machete.
Oh my Lord!
Better hire a couple of tall goats or something there. That's if you're going to blow that off that long.
Let me tell you, I am not complaining because
sounds like you got a lot of fun stuff planned. You could not convince birthday wife to head to Billings for Garth Brooks, huh? She was
actually we had free tickets to Garth Brooks.
I know, and
she did not want to go because we made plans with other people. So.
Yeah, I know.
But anyways, you know what? Do it while you can because you'll be looking for something to do when them kids are out of the house. So, anyways, did you miss me last Wednesday? I did call.
Well, yeah, you did call in. It was a good little call-in segment. Kyle did a fine job filling in for you. We got a phone call from Roddy Corcoran, the voice of the Grizz. That includes softball now. He kind of worked his way into that, and Roddy did the play-by-play for, sadly, only the two, and I'm sure they were wishing they had performed better, but, hey, they got there after only 3 years as a program. But Roddy did the play-by-play from Seattle for the NCAA softball tournament. Montana played Washington on Friday and then got eliminated by Fresno State on Saturday.
And was it 10-0, 7-0?
It was 8-0 and 7-0.
And no hit by the Huskies as well.
Right.
One of the 4 teams that got no hit on the day.
They only scratched out a couple of hits against Fresno State as well. Both games, one big disastrous inning cost them, and one of those situations where they were just this close to being out of the inning with very little damage, and all of then the wheels came off with 2 outs, and that's not to say they would have won. You don't know how it would have turned out, but the Fresno State game, their 5-run inning was the bottom of the 6th, but Washington's big 8-run inning, and that was the bottom of the 3rd, so you don't really know how to. Anyway, that was they got 5 innings on that one, or 6 inning, however they do it in women's college softball. So, yeah, mighty proud of them. Thought they
great year.
Yeah, had a heck of a season, and They lose, albeit a real good one, Bethany Olea, the third baseman. They lose one player, one senior. Now, I got a mess of juniors, so I would imagine the emphasis on recruiting is really going to be amplified for the season after this upcoming season. But, yeah, they only lose one player.
Wow.
Things are looking bright for Jamie Pinkerton, who we need to have in here.
Big Sky Coach of the Year.
Yep. And we haven't had a member of the house band in here for a while, and Jamie, I think, is the original house band member, so we need to get him in here. I'm sure he'd be willing to come in. We should probably get Sports Information Director Eric Tabor in. Maybe Riley, voice of the Grizz, will come back in. Hey. But we're talking baseball tonight, so that'll all have to wait.
We are talking baseball. Our guest tonight, Jeff Griffin, Vice President and General Manager of our Missoula Osprey here in town, and he's bringing along Cooper Perkins, who is the new voice of the Osprey. In addition to, he'll fill the role of Media Relations Coordinator.
Yeah.
And we will talk to him, pick his brain a little bit, and from Los Angeles, so coming up north a little bit.
Yeah. They are in our, we have our new green room. We haven't sold naming rights to it yet. Right now, I think it's just the executive producer, Kyle Stensrud, green room, but we should probably sell them.
Hey, congratulations. Big shout out to my friend Scott Kinney, who is the superintendent of schools in Superior. He was named Western Montana's Administrator of the Year.
Oh,
over there. Although they are the Bobcats over there.
Well, they're the mighty Bobcats.
Well,
if you look at their score as you drive down I-90, that in my mind excuses it, makes it okay, because if you look at the scoreboard, they are the mighty Bobcats.
Denny, that makes me feel 100% better about that situation.
Yeah. I knew I could turn you around.
But congratulations to Scott Kinney.
Yeah, that's great. Way to go, Scott.
The molder of young people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mighty people.
Mighty young people.
Yes. What else?
Got NBA playoffs going on now, Denny?
NBA playoffs.
Not that anybody cares.
The Golden State Warriors are 12-0 going into the championship. Cleveland's only lost one, but now they're up 3-1 in there, so I guess they're 11-1. And so I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. It'll be, deja vu all over again.
Oh, yeah. No,
for the finals.
Totally. And I think that's going to be a good one. LeBron James is playing as good as he's ever played. It's funny. He did not finish in the top 3 in MVP
number 4
voting for the first time, I think, since he's been in the league. And but he had career high in assists, career highs in rebounds. I want to say career high in steals.
Yeah.
And he's kind of sitting there going, that's interesting.
Yeah, and then that's pretty much how he addressed it. He says, "What? I'm number 4. Well, okay,
Yeah,
I had a pretty good year, and then I can't imagine that it would be a snub. Maybe it's just saying, yeah, no, it was your typical greatness, but there was 3 guys that had even better years. So
and it's funny too. It seems like even LeBron James is the best player in the NBA.
I agree.
I mean, hands down. But sometimes you get sick of seeing the same guy up top there for so long, and it's almost like, this guy's had a great year,
yeah.
A better year than he's normally had, and then, Harden, Westbrook, and Curry. I mean, you can't go wrong with those.
Those
that's 3 guys either.
Yeah.
So, what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah, well, you just when your team is winning, you're on the home court, your fans yell MVP. I'm sure they do that a lot in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes, you do. Yeah. Denny got something really cool happening June the 23rd through the 25th.
Check my calendar here.
Out in St. Regis, Montana, at the Tin Can Alley Amphitheater.
The 23rd through the what, Grant?
25th.
Okay, so that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Correct. This is the Montana Mud and Country Music Festival. Mudbog races, live music, food, drinks, camping, fun. Tickets on sale right now. Go to tincanalleyamp.com. Some of the guests, the singers there: Earl Ware, Walker Hayes, Rick Brantley, Brian White, Lila McCann, R.B. Stone, Megan Lindsay, Christy Lee, and Love and Theft. I was out there and took a walk of this property.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're cutting right into the mountainside, and they're doing I'm going to get this wrong, but it's like 300 yards across. They're doing it in layers.
300 yards?
Excuse me, 300 feet.
Okay.
Sorry, 300 feet, and it's plateaued. So they're about 6 foot, 7 foot wide plateaus, and then it goes up about 3 feet, and there's another plateau so that everybody has a decent seat in the house. You're going to be able to get like 40,000 people in this deal, and it all funnels down to this amphitheater, and it's like a bowl. And they did this test with their sound where they played it down where the stage was, and they measured it up at the top where the seats were. And I want to say that and I'm going to get this wrong, but if it was 100 decibels down by the stage, it ended up being 97 up at the top, meaning the sound was just fantastic, and the view is spectacular.
If you ever did end up with a really huge show, I don't know where everybody would park, though.
Oh, he's got 150 acres out there.
Okay.
The parking is
there.
First year festival. They're gonna see what happens.
Small, work your way up.
But I tell you what, if you're looking for something, and it's very affordable. Say it's like $60 for the whole weekend, including your camping.
Excellent.
I mean, might be 70, but go online, tincanalleyamp.com and check that out. It should be a great time.
Our guests tonight will probably say, well, we've also got some opening home games that weekend, so don't forget.
Thanks for blowing the air out of my sail, Denny. That was really nice of you.
I may actually be wrong about that. I don't even know when they start their home games, but we'll find out.
We will find out, and looking forward to another year of Missoula Osprey baseball.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Yes.
That is for sure. Denny, I know you got some trivia over there.
Well, I do. We can jump into trivia, and then we will have our guests come in, waiting over there in the green room. 721-1290, if you know the answer to our trivia. That's brought to you by Happy Days Car Wash and Fuddruckers, world's greatest hamburgers. You see to it. You top it yourself. Whatever you order off that menu, whether it's beef or bison or elk, you name it, you go to those prep tables and just pile on the toppings at Fuddruckers. Also, awesome selection of microbrews on tap. That's Fuddruckers on North Reserve. We have a $10 gift certificate. Also, from Brent and the crew at Happy Days Car Wash. Voted again this year, Missoula's favorite in the Missoulian Readers Poll. The Works Car Wash, a gift card for the Works Car Wash. If you can answer our trivia, we make it pretty easy on you most of the time. Usually we even give you 3 tries if you need them. 721-1290. Well, we do. We got the baseball guys in here tonight. We figured we'd better keep the ball around home plate with some baseball term trivia. If a player strikes out 4 times in one game, he is said to be wearing A, the Koufax cufflinks, B, the Brooklyn blinders, or C, the golden sombrero. 721-1290. If a player strikes out 4 times in a game, he's said to be wearing A, the Koufax cufflinks, B, the Brooklyn blinders, or C, the golden sombrero. I need a winner at 721-1290.
Well, I believe that Brandon Drury did that last night with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I don't even know if he
So
might even be a former Osprey. I don't even know.
So it's fresh in your mind then, is
It is. In fact, I read that today.
Oh, cool.
Today I did. So
all right.
Good job for reading my mind.
Well, we need we want a winner. Yeah, we want to make it easy. Get a big winner here at 721-1290.
Sports Talk Tonight, brought to you in part by Orange Street Food Farm, locally owned and operated grocery store featuring the freshest fruits and vegetables, fresh meats, and a great beer and wine selection. And by Grizzly Liquor, located downtown next to the Iron Horse. Big Sky, Big Selection, online at grizzlyliquor.com. When we come back, Jeff Griffin of the Missoula Osprey.
Yeah, new play-by-play guy, Cooper Perkins, nice enough to come in too. That'll be cool.
And trivia winner when we come back. Sports Talk Tonight.
Now back to Missoula's Sports Talk Tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
We're back with the boss, Denny Batar, on Sports Talk Tonight. Inside joke. Denny, you got a winner over there.
We sure do. I will reach over there. I'll throw that magic switch, and we'll say good evening to Tyson Bowman. How you doing tonight there, Tyson?
Hey, doing great. Thank you.
Appreciate you being a part of Sports Talk tonight. We are talking baseball. Jeff and Cooper are going to join us here in just a second. So we figured we'd better do baseball trivia. If a player strikes out 4 times in one game, he is said to be wearing A, the Koufax cufflinks, B, the Brooklyn blinders, or C, the golden sombrero. What do you think there, Tyson?
It is the golden sombrero.
Yes, and kudos for me for making up the other 2. Those were really good choices there, A and B. Apparently, in fact, the guys were talking about this during the break, and apparently inspired by the term hat trick for 3, they figured they needed a bigger hat and came up with that term for 4. Ryan Howard, then of the Philadelphia Phillies, actually set the record a few years ago for the most career golden sombreros with 24, passing who? You want to take a stab at the bonus trivia question?
Dave Kingman.
Wrong. You want to try that one, Tyson?
How about what's his? How about his name is escaping me. He was a hitter for the Diamondbacks several years ago. Mark Reynolds, he plays for the Rockies now.
How about Sammy Sosa?
Nope, you're all wrong. Griffin, you want to take a try at that one?
Let's say Rob Deere.
No. How about you, Cooper?
Big back, Mark McGuire.
At least you're close in the era, but no, Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson was the golden sombrero king until Ryan Howard.
Mr. October wears the golden sombrero.
Well, and Denny, your trivia winner there, guessing Mark Reynolds was pretty darn close because he does lead the all-time strikeouts in single season, and he broke Rob Deere's record. So that was the direction we were headed. Rob Deere was a former Milwaukee Brewer.
Dang it, Jeff! I can't accept it anyway.
But it was a good train of thought.
All right, quit trying to stand up for Tyson. He still gets the gift card. So, hey, Tyson, we really do appreciate you listening. Thank you so much. Hope you'll stick around and listen to us talk Osprey baseball, and we'll get your prizes mailed out to you, all right?
Hey, really appreciate it. Big fan.
Thank you so much. Tyson Bowman of Missoula, our latest winner there, Gerns.
Very cool. Yes, sir. Very cool, Denny. You've already heard Cooper and Mr. Jeff Griffin. Once again, welcome to a familiar face and a familiar voice, the Vice President and General Manager of our Missoula Osprey, Jeff Griffin, and he has brought along the new voice of the Osprey, Cooper Perkins. So welcome, guys.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's about that time of year again, isn't it, Jeff?
It is. We are, 30 days today till the home opener. We should have some players arriving in, the draft starts June 12th, and we start playing on the road on June 19th, so somewhere in that gap we'll have some players here.
Do you wish it was a little bigger gap sometimes?
It would be nice because we'd have an opportunity to get to know the guys a little bit and promote them in the community. And, the players are a small part of our product. We are a baseball team, but, our brand that holds over throughout the year is Ollie Osprey, and you're going to come to the ballpark and have a fun, affordable night out there.
Yeah. Agreed.
Now, last year, correct me if I'm wrong, last year our draft was geared more towards the college player?
Well, the draft, the Diamondbacks selected a lot of college guys last year. They didn't all necessarily land with us here, with other short season clubs in Hillsboro and the Arizona Rookie League. It seemed like they did. We ended up getting the first round pick for about 8 days. Anthony Greer out of Auburn, a college guy, but we didn't have all the draftees. Now, the draft this year is starting on June 12th, and with us starting on the 19th, I would expect us to have more returnees to start the season or guys with professional experience, meaning they played in Hillsboro or King County or somewhere last year, and they're still in baseball purgatory, which is extended spring training. We've talked about that a few times. And so they'll fill our roster more than likely with quite a few of those guys and a lot of the arms that have been built up through spring training and extended spring. And then I would expect us to have a line change in hockey somewhere around the second week of the season with some of the draftees infiltrating our roster.
Gotcha. All right. I'm sure it can be a headache and a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, but having to scramble like that and putting a whole team together, that's got to be kind of a fun thing too, doesn't it? A little bit.
Well, it's exciting. Every year, this will be my 13th season with the club, and
very good.
Being able to follow the guys, from year to year. I was actually down in San Diego last week and got to see the Diamondbacks put up 8 runs in the top of the first against Jared Weaver, and you saw Goldschmidt and Owens and Andrew Chafin and all those guys down there. And then on the other side of it, you feel bad because our manager from 2012 and the guy that played for us in 2004, Andy Green, was in the other dugout, for the Padres. And Doug Bachler, our pitching coach here in 2013, was the bullpen coach, and he was really busy that weekend when I was down there. And Alan Zenner, our old hitting coach. So all those guys are there in the Padres dugout, and they're taking their lumps. But it was fun to go and see our guys that have come through here. 60 guys since 1999. They're in the big leagues. So.
Is that average, unusual, low, high? Is that do you even know?
For the middle bottom of an organization, I mean, we get a lot of the rookies. You gotta figure when you get to the high A, double A, your ratios are probably closer to 15 or 20% of your roster, and where we're at since 1999, you're 3.5 to 4 guys a year that will make the show. Some years, it's amazing, Denny. You'll probably remember this. We had a 2001 team that was really, really good here, and Scott Hairston played on that team.
Oh, yeah.
And he was the only guy to make the big leagues off that whole roster, and then you have 2009, another really talented team with Paul Goldschmidt and Owens and all those guys. And we had Charles Brewer, Chase Anderson, with the Brewers now. And I want to say you had almost 10 guys off that team that made the show, and they didn't win the league that year, So it's just and Jesus Cota, another guy from back there in 2001, that won the Triple Crown in the Pioneer League and didn't even make the big leagues. So it's just, to answer the question about is that about right? Yeah, I think it's pretty good for this level. And you get to go to the ballpark and you get to see these guys, and you look at the roster and you say, hey, 3 or 4 of these guys are going to be on TV in 3 or 4 years.
Get everybody's autograph because you never know.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Hey, this is Sports Talk Tonight. We have Jeff Griffin, the Vice President, General Manager of the Missoula Osprey, along with Cooper Perkins, the new play-by-play guy for those same Osprey. And hey, Cooper, welcome to town and welcome to Missoula. How's it going?
It's a pleasure to be with you guys. Thanks for having me on. Getting used to things. It's been about a week and a half since making the move out. I'm a Southern California guy, so it's been a little bit different. I got greeted with some snow, as I was telling Jeff in the green room, that it was about 6.5 inches up where I'm living at the Upper Rattlesnake, which was an unwelcome surprise walking out the door at 5:30 in the morning to try and go to the gym. So ankle deep in snow. I was introduced quickly to, I guess, what are some pretty quickly changing weather patterns here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes? Is that what they say here?
Go to the bathroom,
How did Jeff Griffin talk me into this one? What the heck did I sign up for?
There's some bill of goods were used in that conversation, and
there's the low humidity. Yeah. Did the Osprey find you? You find the Osprey? What was the process in getting the gig?
We kind of crossed paths somewhat serendipitously, I think. It wasn't until right before Jeff and I actually got a chance to meet up for the first time that they even knew that the job would be open and that there'd be a vacancy. Oh. Tyler Guyvet, who of course did a great job for a couple of years and has been a big help throughout the process. Wasn't sure if he was coming back or not, and when it became clear he wasn't going to be able to come back, that's when the job officially came open. But Jeff, being the pragmatic soul he is, threw the listing out anyway. And so I responded to it like any, I guess, excited college kid would, and heard back just before going to the winter meetings out in Washington, D.C. at National Harbor. And the two of us got together, had a couple of great conversations, and the rest is history. So that's where we are, and I guess we stumbled across each other at the right time.
You got to have your line in the water at all times, right? You never know if
your contingency plans.
Yeah, we're really happy to have Cooper here. I think he's going to do a great job. I was telling Kyle in the green room here that you're going to see Cooper on the MLB Network one of these days. That's just the kind of guy he is. And
don't make the pressure too high already. Come on.
We're really we're sad to see Tyler go. You had him for a couple years, but he may be back at some point in his career. So
now I'm just kind of looking at your dossier here. Are you still working with the University of Southern California? Is this just like your summer job or
no? I finished up school in December actually. So I actually finished my last class right before I took the job here with the Osprey, and so I'm joining the ranks of the adults, I guess, and making the full-fledged dive into what it's like to be a part of the workforce full-time. But no, this is it, 100%, and this is the only gig I got right now, so I'm excited to make it the best one.
Is it something you've always wanted to do growing up? You majored in communication, all sports, baseball more than other things,
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a little bit interesting story. I grew up a huge sports fan, big baseball fan. This is a little bit interesting now working with the Diamondbacks. Grew up a huge Dodger fan, so that's always something to watch going, looking around the office and whatnot, seeing all the D-backs guys who've come through. But I actually went to school with plans on studying finance and getting into the business world on that side of things. And after 2 whole years, so flushed plenty of my parents' money down the drain there, decided that maybe I should figure out something that would be a little bit more interesting to me over the long term. And I settled on sports as being a hobby that I'd always been a big fan of. I played sports growing up, still a huge fan, really every season kind of guy. And when I came to the realization that, I always been pretty good at talking and I always like sports, maybe I can make those two things come together, and God forbid I can get paid to do it. And that's like stealing right there. Everyone else pays to go to the games and I get paid to go. If that could work out, then I think that'd be perfect. And so I pivoted halfway through my college career to, focus on that. And since then, we've just been trying to, make up for lost time and get as good as I can as quickly as possible.
Well, you obviously have a passion for calling baseball. Any other sports that you had an opportunity to do broadcasts that really appeal to you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've done just about everything under the sun. Big basketball fan. We were just talking a little bit off the air before coming on about USC football. Got a chance to do that, and I think we've pulled ourselves out of the dark times. But it's been a pleasure getting to work with some different sports. The fundamentals of calling a game are pretty consistent across the board, but it just varies in the players, the personalities. That's really the treat of it, getting to meet some different kinds of people who all have different thought processes because they're playing different sports and they're from different backgrounds. So I think the favorite team I ever covered is actually a women's volleyball team at USC. They were number one in the country for about 8 weeks my junior year, which was pretty cool to be a part of that. And, yeah, that's kind of a cool vibe when everything's meshing and the team's winning.
Now, here's what I want to know is you're majoring in communications and you've got a bunch of different people that want to be broadcasters.
Yeah.
How do you, as a student, get that kind of? I mean, is there a lot of people angling for those gigs?
That's what I was going to say, Cooper. So at the baseball winter meetings, how many job seekers are there?
Of broadcasters?
Of all. At the baseball winter meetings, there's a couple thousand people that show up looking to get into the business. And we brought in some folks, that will intern for us, just like I did 13 years ago, and trying to move up in the ranks or move from club to club. And I would say 65% of those, or close to 2/3, same thing, are our broadcast ambitions.
Now, let's not, the talent isn't all on the same plane there.
Correct.
So some of them are better candidates than others, but in terms of the interest, you got a lot of people all around the country, and it's one of those kinds of gigs where they'll come from anywhere. You build it and they will come, and that's kind of where we're at here. There are a lot of guys who would kill to be in this position, and I'm certainly excited to be here. And just looking at the window at these mountains, how could you not be excited to be in Missoula?
Oh yeah.
It's not too hard of a sell, Denny, to get someone to come to Missoula.
No. And the other thing is Gurns had to audition with about 4,000 people to get, this gig on Sports Talk Tonight. So, Cooper, hey, no big deal.
I thought you were going to talk about when I became the color guy for Grizzly football. That was a big audition. I bought somebody a beer and the job was mine.
Said, hey.
I mean,
that's where the best jobs come from, right? The bar.
Yeah.
I was in on that hiring process too. Is that what happened there?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Oh yeah. Oh, Guernsey wants to do it? Okay, fine.
Perfect. Tell him to be there at
4:00. Tell him not to cuss. It's so funny. Everybody over the years, how do you sit there and do a game without using foul language? And I just say, you know what? Just act like you're talking to your grandma.
Yeah.
But good call.
After a while, though, you wouldn't even dream of saying anything like that. Anyways, like your grandma. Hey, we're going to take a quick break.
Be back with the guys.
Come back with the guys for another segment, and we'll talk more Osprey baseball when we come back on Sports Talk Tonight.
Sports Talk Tonight, live from the KGVO studio.
Missoula Sports.
We are back. Sports Talk Tonight, Gurns and Bedard. Brought to you in part by Bell McCall Ford. Great selection of new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Bell McCall is your locally owned low-cost auto dealer for over 100 years in downtown Hamilton. And by Granite Pharmacy, locally owned and operated pharmacy on South Avenue between Shopko and Big Sky High School. Find them at granitepharmacy.com. Back with us, our guest, Jeff Griffin, Vice President, General Manager of the Missoula Osprey, and Cooper Perkins, the new play-by-play for the Missoula Osprey as well, University of Southern California graduate. And we were just kind of talking off air, Cooper, about, I guess we didn't talk about this, but the role of announcer and play-by-play guy and what have you is completely different than it was 10 years ago. It used to be before, you just talk about the game, whether it was TV, whether it was radio and stuff, but now there's so much more, and we kind of talked about social media and what have you, and how does social media kind of bleed into what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, that's a huge point. The landscape is constantly changing. You see that, especially with ESPN's layoffs. Versatility is the most important thing in sports media now, and that's something that you're keenly aware of. And we were talking off air about our initiative to get a new edition of the Osprey blog, Bird Droppings, out there, which will be live by the end of this week.
Little nuggets of Osprey information.
Yes, it is. So that's a piece of the initiative that we're working on here. But social media is a huge part of what I'm trying to do and what we're trying to do as a team, with respect to trying to advance that brand, because there's an opportunity to reach a whole lot of people in a different way and be accessible. So myself personally as the broadcaster, to be able to interact during a game and interact with listeners is pretty awesome, and great for both sides of that transaction, both me and the listeners, as well as with the team. You want to be able to build that following in a way that everyone's having fun with it, because that's what social media is about. It's about having a fun time, and it's about seeing some things that are in a different setting than you would have in a conventional media place, on TV or on the radio. It's just a little kind of rapid release platform for stuff. So we're working on it. We're really excited about Bird Droppings. We're going to have some other stuff, video content-wise, that'll come out promoted through those channels as well. But right now, the big one that we're, getting back online is Bird Droppings, the blog.
Wow. That sounds a lot cooler than the feature we came up with last week while you were gone, Cousin Kyle, Camp Counselor.
Which is kind of creepy, if you really think about it. Cousin and Camp Counselor are the same.
We don't really think about things. Jeff Griffin, I'll ask you since you're here.
All right. And if I wasn't here,
I'd answer for you.
Then I would just ask Cooper.
All right.
But Cooper got the job because why? What jumped out? What jumped out at you?
I want to hear this one.
Yeah, I might make you answer it if I don't like Jeff's.
Yeah, he has done that before. The guest. I really thought Coop was a professional based on his materials. We were looking for someone to fill some big shoes from Tyler Guyvette. So it wasn't when you set the bar at a certain level, you got to make sure you bring somebody in that you think is capable of doing so. His materials were very professional. He could write. He had some background in the social media realm and some videos that he did with this Summer Woodbat college team last year that he worked for in Wisconsin. But he had a hunger to get into professional baseball, and we sat down and had a conversation in the hotel lobby there at the baseball winter meetings. And after that conversation, I went back up to the room, did a lot of research on Cooper to make sure I knew what we were getting and bringing to our community, because I live here year round and want to make sure you got the right guy. And at the end of the day, we talked the next day, and that was it. Cool. We said, hey, you want to come to Missoula? And here he is.
You didn't tell me about the snow then, though. You didn't say that July was the only month with no snow.
You can get over that any time now. Cooper, but,
I just giving a hard time.
Gurns, have you ever been to the LA Coliseum?
I have not.
Once. I've been once. A friend of my wife's and I managed to get tickets to the Southern Cal USC game, and you may remember because
it's the same team.
Or UCLA
inter-squad game.
Oh,
Southern Cal UCLA game.
Wow.
And maybe you can remember what year. I want to say 05 or 06. You can help me out. Final score. In fact, the headline in the newspaper was Route 66. The final score was SC 66, UCLA nothing. But it was still pretty neat to be a part of that atmosphere.
Yeah, that was the 05 season. That game has since been stricken from the record. No, that was still Durrell.
Okay.
That was Durrell for 2 or 3 more years.
Oh, that was the stricken year.
Yeah, that was the year that Vince Young ripped my childhood heart out.
Oh, man.
Sent me crying back to school.
So that must have been 2005.
It was 05.
Yep. Yeah. So I just remember Vince Young scampering into the end zone at the Rose Bowl.
That was the one time we got to go in the Coliseum, but what a thrill. It was pretty special.
Yeah, pass interference in the end zone, not a chance. What a makeup call. I remember that, too.
Where were you?
Where's Vince Young now?
He's not on this show.
No.
Well, as Jeff Griffin alluded to when we first started visiting, that it's about the team. Obviously, you want to see a talented, exciting team out there, but it's about engagement with the fans too. And I know you've had a lot of successful promotions and events that you do every single year. Anything new coming up, or stay with what's been working, or what can we expect this year?
Yeah, you bet. A lot of the same staples with Kids Day and Family Night and Bike to the Park, and all those that you have on a weekly basis. 4 fireworks shows planned. Opening day is June 23rd. It's a short 2-day homestand with fireworks on the 24th, Saturday night. So we'll have our annual Independence Day show on July 3rd, the one that usually gets close to sellout. We're seeing some brisk ticket sales for that night. Our third show is July 29th, and our final fireworks show on September the 1st. I do have one promotion to tease a little bit that we'll probably see out in the media here shortly. We're working on retiring our first player's uniform.
Oh, no kidding!
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
And
that wouldn't
Lyle Overbay.
That would be who we're working with right now
From the Black Hills League of Centralia, Washington.
Correct.
20 minutes. They were in our league.
And I didn't want to sound too danged old, but when he started talking about some of the Osprey greats that have worked their way up, I was about to say, the first name when you talk about guys like that,
Lyle Overbay.
Still the first name that pops into my head is Lyle. First Missoula season, right?
It was 1999. Also, still holds the Pioneer League record with 101 RBIs.
I'll be darned.
And played in 70 games. And I always remember this is when I first moved here. You'd hear on the radio, and it was Tom Schmidt's old place, the Lyle Overbay chicken sandwich at Mullen Station, right? If you remember.
Geez.
And he had stuff named for all the different players, but Lyle, there's a good chance that we're going to retire his uniform and that he'll be out here at the end of July. So
terrific!
You got the scoop.
His younger brother was a tight end for Eastern Washington.
He was.
That's right. Yeah. And what about my luxury box for the Paul Simon concert? Where are we?
We have to build that still.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we do have some quality tents, down
because
the line.
That's right before the season home opener. So I would think you might want to get on that right now. I mean,
the Bedard box.
Yeah. We're waiting on our permits, Denny.
I didn't think I just bought tickets. I expected a little pampering.
Well, and I'm still ready for you to get out there and toss one in.
Are you ready? I would love to do it.
Oh man. Yeah.
We've got a lot of partnership here with the Town Square Group, and KGVO will be sponsoring some.
I would be honored to do it.
I promise you every year. You just got to cash it in.
I'll be there for that too.
I got to nag you.
I'm going to. You just got to say, "Hey, I'm coming tomorrow night."
Okay.
And then we make it happen.
No, you plan it out further ahead than that. You don't do it the night before.
Only for Denny Bedard.
All right.
I'll come
okay. And then I'm going to be with the camera for our blog. That's where it comes up, and it might be live Facebook live feed maybe, and no pressure. No pressure.
I would be honored. I'll come down, throw the ball, go back up to my luxury box, and enjoy the ball game.
The one that we just built.
Yeah,
that's right.
And we'll have Guernsey out too. Why not?
I'm coming. We're
going to do co first pitches with the partnership group side by side, two catchers.
Can I throw a slurve?
Wait a minute. No, you're not saying I have to share it with him. Is that what you just said?
I don't know.
My 15 seconds of fame. I don't know.
All right. Hey, I'll take that back, Denny.
Yeah. Before we go and let you go, Jeff, I can't stress enough how much of an affordable experience going out to the Missoula Osprey is.
Oh gosh, are you kidding me?
For a family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for a family of four, and $40, let's just call it.
Sure.
I mean,
actually, on Monday nights,
they can
for
beat
$30.
Yeah,
you get 4 tickets and dinner for $30.
Exactly, and a nice family atmosphere. The weather's usually great. I mean, it's just a really
it's a place you can let your kids run around and not worry about where they're at.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and I can't stress enough how family friendly and affordable, and just the atmosphere down there is. You guys do it right down there.
Appreciate that.
Cooper, probably a little bit smaller venue than you're used to, but I imagine you have to say that you are impressed with Ogren Park, Allegiance Field, because the guy on to your left there. But I imagine you think it's a pretty good-looking place.
I think it's pretty top rate. You might have given a little bit of an undersell there, at least from the way I look at it. Based on the other places that I've been, obviously coming from a big school, I've seen a lot of smaller parks, though, having worked in central Wisconsin, throughout the Midwest. Ogren Park at Allegiance Field is really an immaculate ballpark. So it's going to be a pretty great place to call some games. It's a fantastic box, a fantastic vantage point.
And then you get to go to Great Falls.
And then we go to Great Falls.
And
Helena. Yeah. So it'll be a fantastic place to take in some baseball, though.
They got beer at those places. That's about all I can say about them.
I will confess, I've never seen another Pioneer League baseball ballpark.
Denny, the big thing was we hosted the Special Olympics barbecue last week in the torch run, and that was Cooper's first day of work, so he got to go open up his booth, and he had his own booth. Hey. So that was a big deal.
It was a big deal, exactly.
Yeah, I know we're running
next to the scorekeeper.
We are running really late here, but before I let you go, Jeff, just maybe a quick top of the trees look at the Pioneer League itself. How is the Pioneer League these days?
The Pioneer League is still affiliated with Major League Baseball, so we're going to be as strong as Big Brother is in that regard. And I know I always get tested with that every time we come in. And franchises are strong. The quality of play is right up there with other short season leagues. We still have an all-star game with the Northwest League, which is considered our sister league. You know, the Spokanes and the Vancouver BCs and Eugenes of the world. And it's in Hillsborough this year, so it'll be in our other Diamondback affiliate ballpark. But Pioneer League's going well, and as you can see, we have a lot of alumni making it to the big leagues and a lot of fans coming through our turnstiles.
Excellent.
Can't wait.
Well, you do it right out there, and it's going to be another great season of Osprey baseball.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you, Jeff Griffin, Vice President, General Manager, Cooper Perkins, new play-by-play guy, and we'll see you guys out at the ballpark.
Take care, fellas.
All right.
My pleasure.
When we come back, little stupid, little steal on Sports Talk Tonight.
Sports.
Every second of every day.
We're back. Sports Talk Tonight, brought to you in part by Jerry Wessel's Tire Center. The locally owned Les Schwab Tire Center provides the best tire value promise. Visit them online at jerrywesselstirecenter.com and by CHS Mountain West Co-op, Western Montana source for Cynic's fuel, feed, fertilizer, clothing, and tack for over 75 years. Our guests, Jeff Griffin and Cooper Perkins over there, the Missoula Osprey, are brought to you, as always, by First Montana Bank, your home for free Centennial checking plus unlimited cash back every time you use your debit card, online at firstmontanabank.com. Denny, you know you have great guests when a half an hour feels like about 15 minutes.
Oh, I already knew that, at least half of it, because I love having Jeff Griffin on. I wish he could, once the season starts, it's either a home game and he's working, or sometimes he's still doing stuff on the road as well, and so it's tough. Jeff's a great interview.
Yeah.
I love interviewing Jeff.
Yep.
And you can tell that young Mr. Perkins is going to go far as a broadcaster.
Boy,
so I'm looking forward. Granted, it's on another network, as they say, a rival network, but I'm looking forward to hearing him call a game because he struck me the same way that our young Grizzly announcer, Riley Corcoran, did. Is that they know their stuff beyond their years, and I'll bet you. I asked the same question about Riley. How do you think he got the job?
Yeah.
Last summer, last fall, and he said, "Well, I think that nobody is going to out prepare me," and I kind of got the same impression with Cooper there, is that he's going to be ready.
He's got the voice for it, that's for sure.
Yeah. Good up tempo delivery.
Had some good vocabulary too, Denny.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
Oh, several big words I didn't understand.
Yeah.
And go figure.
You liar! You understand them all.
Of all things, I'm looking at you for help. Oh dear. Well, with that, we will move on to the Steel of the Week. That's brought to you by True North Steel, Western Montana's industry leader in quality, manufactured, and fabricated steel products. Gurns, the Steel of the Week.
Denny, I'm going to go back just a little bit. I believe it was a week from tonight when the Golden State Warriors met the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, sounds about right.
First round of the playoffs, you had that incident where the Kawhi Leonard hurt his ankle. They were up by as much as 25 points. It was 62-42 at halftime. Spurs beating the Warriors. And in an epic comeback, Golden State was able to steal that with a 2-point victory after the Spurs, were leading by that much. And I guess the thing that really sticks out in my mind is why this is such a good steal is Golden State's a great team, but you're playing against the San Antonio Spurs, who are coached by one of the best coaches in sports, and they have been consistently on top of their game for more than a decade. And to come back in the playoffs and to beat the Spurs like that is a heck of a steal. So that would be my steal, the Golden State Warriors stealing Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals over the San Antonio Spurs.
I think, and this is not to say they wouldn't have won the series anyway, not to say they wouldn't have swept the series. I think I would have found it more entertaining if San Antonio had been at 100%. A couple pretty significant injuries there that they had to fight through.
And we were talking about the top three getters, Curry, and I believe Kawhi Leonard was number 3 in the MVP voting, and he very dynamic offensive and defensive player. So who knows?
Yeah,
who knows? But
still, man, that team is something, no doubt about it. That's your Steal of the Week, brought to you by True North Steel.
And my stupid athlete of the week, I got Ezekiel Elliott. He's one of those guys that just kind of keeps getting in trouble. And not that he was in trouble, but he was riding a car with somebody, and they get in a car wreck, and he suffers a concussion. It just seems like this guy is constantly in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong kind of people. Who knows? But that's not my stupid athlete of the week. My stupid sports person, and he's not even a sports person because he averaged like 1 point a game, and this is LeVar Ball. And I can't believe he hasn't been our stupid person of the week on numerous other occasions. I just haven't thought about him, Denny. This could be his 3rd or 4th time. But this most recent time, he's in an interview on ESPN, and this Christine Leahy is doing the interview, and I'm not going to get into what exactly he said, but basically was putting down women and the comments that he was making and just the disrespect that he was showing towards this female reporter. I mean, it was just, and I'm sure we'll hear about him for many years to come, but it's all about him. It's not about his kids. If I'm his sons, I either say, Dad, shut up, or you ain't getting nothing. Just go. Because he is making it so unhealthy and not fun for his kids that it's crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's a good pick for stupid because the kind of stuff, the stupid stuff that he says, you know what's going to happen, or it is happening. It just manifests itself because now he's a sideshow. Oh. Now he's a cartoon. So you don't think that as many sports reporters as they can are going to go out there and try to get sound bites from that guy? Oh. Just because, he's now he's a circus act. And that's too bad, but that's just the way media works sometimes.
I can beat Charles Barkley in a one-on-one.
Yeah.
The guy played.
Don't need no advice from who? Kobe Bryant, I think he said.
None of the other sports apparel or shoe companies even tried to give his son a shoe deal, although they've got their shoe out that costs $499, whatever the hell it costs.
Yeah. Do you think that that's going to have any effect on his position in the NBA draft?
That's a great question. He's projected to be taken second, supposedly, by the Los Angeles Lakers, which is where the dad wants him to go. Now, they're talking about this kid like he's the next coming, but now they're starting to find some holes in his games, like the jump shot's not that good, kind of brittle, whatever. Yeah. If he gets taken second by the Lakers, then I would say no, his dad had no effect on it. If he drops to 4, 5, 6, I'd probably say it had something to do with the dad.
Mm-hmm. Who will then get in the way and embarrass his kid and make a scene about it.
And he'll probably be the kid's agent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really sad.
Yeah. I mean, kudos to your kid. Well, I should say kids because I believe his younger brother is enrolled at UCLA, is he not? He'll be entering this year or next?
Yes, he's committed, and then they've got another brother that's younger than that. And this is the thing. This year, the high school team that the two younger brothers play for, I think they made it to the 3rd round of the state playoffs or whatever the heck it was, but because the coach would not run the offense that the dad wanted the coach to run, the coach, he finished like 29-2 or something this year. They fired the coach, because the dad what he wasn't doing right by his own kids. So I mean, it's pathetic.
And I'm sure they love their dad, and I'm sure they'd say that I wouldn't be the player I am without him. But sometimes you just gotta, you see this. You've got a very athletic young son that's participating in all these sports. There's just a time where you've got to not necessarily step away, but maybe step back just a little bit.
You do. You know what? I got a funny quick story. When I came here to play football, I was a freshman, and I redshirted. Then I started like the first 6 games of my redshirt freshman year at wide receiver, and I did okay. But then I dove and I caught I didn't catch this ball, but they said I did, and I knocked the wind out of myself. And in strides Marvin Turk, who was my backup. Next play, he catches like a 40-yard touchdown. And in the last 5 games of the year, he caught like 11 scores. And I barely saw the field. My dad gets on the phone, almost towards the end of the season. He calls Coach Robin Pflugrad up, who was my position coach. And he said, do I need to talk to my son? Does he have an attitude problem? Why isn't he playing? And Pflugrad tells me this. And I called my dad. I said, listen, I appreciate that, but don't ever call one of my coaches again.
Yeah.
I'm 20 years old here. Blah, blah. Anyways,
yeah.
The kids need to say, back off, Dad.
Yeah. But at least in a situation like that, I think that your dad, rather than, why isn't my kid playing? Why he catches lots of passes.
Exactly.
It was, obviously a more diplomatic parental concern.
For sure. And, love my dad to death.
I mean, he was still trying to get in Pflugrad's ear, yeah. but at least he did it really tactful. He did it really good.
Yeah, and say, hey, we don't have a lot of money, but my wife could bake you a pie or something if Scott could get on the field. No. Those were good times, that's for sure. That is for sure, Denny.
Yeah, fun career. You were fun to watch.
Denny, you're going to miss me just one more time.
Yeah.
One more time.
You said that, and it didn't register in my head that you're going to be gone again.
Yep. It's my summer day vacation.
All right.
That's all I got. Def Leppard, here I come. Although I'm more interested in Tesla.
Okay. Well, you have fun. This means I need a substitute co-host next year.
I'll call again. I'll call in.
Eric Tabor gets right of first refusal if he can't. We got to go.
Or it's Riley Corcoran. One or the other.
All right. Have fun, Gordon.
Sports Talk Tonight. We're out of here.